Hello students, you're welcome to another tutorial by Brain Booster Tutorials. My name is Master IBK and today we'll be looking at the introduction to economics. The topic is precisely for the SS1 students. So introduction to economics. SS1 students, I first want to welcome you to this your new level or new class. So this is part of the subjects you'll be offering. So let's look at it. What is economics? You know, what is economics? Economics is a dynamic subject that has many definitions. It's often said that there are many definitions of economics as there are economists because they see the subject from different point of view. That is, we have many definitions for economics because we have many economists. Economics is someone that studies economics. So because of the many economists that we have many definitions for economics. So we have some definitions down here which I'm going to look at briefly. We have one by Adam Smith, a British economist in the 18th century, and is also called the father of economics. In 1776, he defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations, and an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. So you was like economics has to do with when you inquire, when you seek to find out the nature and causes of wealth of nations, that is wealth of countries. We also have another definition by H.J. Davenport, which defines economics as a science that treats phenomena from the standpoint of price, that treats any form of issue, that treats any form of situation from the standpoint of price. Another definition by Edwin Cannon defines economics as the study of humans having to do with man's material welfare, the study of things. Economics, Edwin Cannon defines economics as the study of things having to do with man's material welfare. When you study the way, when we talk about man's welfare now, their way of life, what they need to survive in life. When you study it, that's economics according to Edwin Cannon. A.I. Piog defines economics as the study of how total production could be increased so that the standard of living of people might be improved. A.I. Piog defines economics as the study of how total production could be increased so that the standard of living of people might be improved. So when we talk of the study of how total production, that is, what is production, later in your journey in economics class, you still know what is production. It's the creation of utility, creation of goods. So when we now looked at economics as the study of how the total production could be increased so that the standard of living, when we talk of standard of living, it has to do with welfare, quality of life of people, how it can be improved. Then, however, the most acceptable and widely used definition was by Professor Leonard C. Robbins in 1932, which defined economics as the science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Leonard C. Robbins defines economics as the science that studies human behavior, as that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. A relationship between ends and scarce means. You see later in our next class, we are going to look at what we mean by ends, scarce means. Is what do you mean by this science? It's science, that studies human behavior, the way human behaves. So that's the most acceptable definition. It says that economics is defined as a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. The reasons for the popularity of this definition is in twofold. Namely, number one, it is the only definition which mentions the basic economic problem of scarcity and choice. When we talk of scarcity, we mean when something is scarce, when it's limited, when resources are limited, and choice, when you have to choose between one particular thing or one particular product or the other. Then secondly, that the fact that economics is a social science. We have pure sciences like all these those in science class, all these chemistry, physics, those are examples of pure science. But economics is an example of social science. Economics is also economics also means the study of choice when scarcity occurs. The study of choice when scarcity occurs. What do we mean? How you relate, how you behave, what you choose when you have limited resources with you is what economics is known for. Economics also means the study of choice when scarcity occurs. Now let's look at the scope of economics. Let's look at the scope of economics. Economics relies on the findings of other social sciences, which includes ethics, political science, sociology, geography, psychology, philosophy, um, anthropology, etc. in order to reach sound conclusion concerning human behavior. For example, now under political science, now it has to do with government. Now, economists will like, okay, this government policy, is it enough? Is it okay for improvement of the welfare of the people, or how will the citizens react when government policies is not favorable? That's what economics does. So this interrelationship with other social sciences promotes a wider general understanding of social behavior. So that's one of the scope of economics. Then economics is a social science which studies human behavior or mankind's economic activities in relation to production, exchange, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. When we talk of scope, like what does economics cover? What does economics cover? What is, it's just like in the house now, you always look at fence. So what a fence that demarcates two buildings, and that's like the scope of that particular compound. So economics is a social science that studies human behavior or mankind's economic activities in relation to production, exchange, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Economics also deals with how people react to economic situations and how they behave while engaged in their daily economic activities. Economics deals with how people react to economic situations. For example, in Nigeria now, things are very, very expensive. So how do people behave? Sometimes some people can be very aggressive. Some people can be so worried. Some people can be so sad because of the way prices are skyrocketing, and so because of that they are not happy. But when prices are normalized and even and goods are very affordable, you see them being happy. So that's what economics deals with. Economics deals with administration of scarce resources in the society. Resources are always scarce. Resources are always scarce. Most times there's not always enough money for you. You as a student, for example, you have many unlimited wants. You have many unlimited wants, but the resources are very, very limited. That is, the resources are very, very scarce. Economics is positive in its study of human behavior by concerning itself with what is and not normative with what should be, and thus point out the full cost, the real or opportunity cost of achieving our ends. So what remains is that economics is always positive in the study of human behavior. It is always after what it is and not just about what should be. So in the later or future classes, you will still know about opportunity cost. It means alternative forgone, where you have to take a particular thing at the expense of another. That's when we talk about opportunity cost. Then we have branches of economics. Economics is broken down into two broad areas. We have microeconomics and macroeconomics. When we talk of micro, it's just about anything micro means small. So microeconomics has to do with the branch of economics which deals with economic action or behavior of individuals, household, and firms. So it has to do with when you are looking at a smaller group in a country. It centers on the analysis of individual prices, markets, and allocation of specific resources in to particular uses. For example, demand and supply. Now, when you look at demand and supply, later in your economic journey, you'll still know that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. When we're not looking at human beings or just when we're looking at individuals or families, how they react to the increment in price of, let's say for example now, the family that loves Indomie so much, we're not trying to study how they reacted to the increment in the price of Indomie. We're looking at microeconomics. But under macroeconomics, on the other hand, is the study of the economy as a whole, which includes, among other economic aspects, such as inflation, national income, investment, unemployment, international trade, etc. So microeconomics is for smaller units in the country. It deals with individuals, households, and firms, while macroeconomics, on the other hand, deals with the whole economy as a whole. So now let's look at another subheading that which says, why do we study economics? You may wonder, why am I told to study this particular subject? Why do we study economics? Economics is a social science which studies behavior of individuals, firms, and governments in the ordinary business of life due to the following reasons. Number one, the study of economics provides the students with the basic skills for analyzing economic problems, thereby preparing them for better positions where economic decisions are needed. So, for example, when you study economics, you can always find yourself in a bank, in the central bank, for example, when you become the governor of central bank. All these particular lessons you undertake, or you undertook in the school now, will be very, very helpful for you. It also enables the students to understand the nature of the complexity of the economic activities. It enables the student to understand the nature of the complexity. You will be able to understand how complex economic activities are. You'll be able to understand why is it that petrol is being sold for 750, 950 in some parts of Nigeria. It is useful in analyzing patterns of socio-economic behavior. It is useful in analyzing patterns of socio-economic behavior to go like one day, through economics, you'll be able to understand why some people are so aggressive when they are selling some products. You understand why some people are happy if they hear the price of a particular product. Then it enables students to understand and appreciate various government policies where choices have to be made. When you study economics, you now understand why was subsidy removed from in Nigeria? Why is it that our refineries are not really working well? Why is it that the border is being shut? Through economics, you'll be able to know and understand the various government policies. The knowledge of economics is useful to understand effects of inequalities in the distribution of income and opportunity. Through economics, you'll be able to understand effects of inequalities in the distribution of income and opportunity. It is useful in effective allocation of scarce resources to various sectors of the economy. Through economics, allocation of scarce resources can be, distributed very well to all the sectors of the economy. So this is the end of the lesson for now. I am Master Ibukunluwa, and thank you for joining the class. In the next class, we'll look at some other explanation of economics. Thank you and bye.